Hello everyone, my name is Sheen and welcome back to my channel. With a new DLC on the horizon, I saw that it's the perfect time to look back at all the DLCs we already have and rank them. For that, I will use this beautiful tier list made by Alfred Supersauce. So I have two criteria on which I will rank the pack. The first one is like the animals, like more specific the animal models and how much I use them in my zoos and how much I like them. And the second one is about the construction pieces, how versatile they are, like because some of them are like a bit specific, and also how often I use them. So I hope to be able to provide a good basis on which you can decide which next DLC to get if you are not already owning all of them. So that said, all of this is of course purely my opinion. I would love to see discussions in the comments on what you would have ranked differently and why. Also, if you are already commenting, just press that subscribe button too. So first, we're starting with the Deluxe Upgrade Pack. The Deluxe Upgrade Pack comes with 3 animals, being the Pygmy Hippo, the Thompson Gazelle, and the Komodo Dragon, as well as the Planet Zoo, I think it's only the base game soundtrack, and a few wallpapers. So I have that deluxe edition purely because I wanted to play the better version of the game, which I wasn't able to because my laptop was not good enough. But yeah, I actually do like the Komodo Dragon, and I would love to use it more than I already do. I think the Thompson Gazelle is like, it's okay, but it's like not the most interesting animal. And the Pygmy Hippo is also something I would be like, yeah, I could have do without it, but it's nice to have it. So I would rank the Deluxe Upgrade Pack as an okay pack. So then the first like real DLC that we have was the Arctic Pack. The Arctic Pack came with over 200 construction pieces. They were all more like in the wooden area, and they are mostly with like Christmas decorations and stuff. Like in my head it's just combined with like Christmas decorations. And it came with 4 habitat animals, being the polar bear, the reindeer, the Arctic wolf, and the Dall sheep. So we all know polar bears are like kind of a staple in most zoos, at least here in Europe. You have a lot of zoos who are exhibiting polar bears. Same goes with reindeers. I think I've never actually saw a Dall sheep in real life. Also, I'm not sure if I ever saw an Arctic wolf, but since it's like the polar bear has like such a weird requirement for like the space, it needs so much space, even though it does make sense and like a realism aspect is like not really fun to build for, even though it is a stable animal in pretty much most zoos in Europe, and all the other ones are like not really ones I would really go for. And because I also don't really like the construction pieces, because you have like that Arctic Pack that is all in the same wood color, which would be great if I would be making some Scandinavian Viking kind of theme village, but outside of that you can't really use it, or at least I don't see myself use it at all. So this is also going to be an okay pack, purely because I do like that we have the polar bear in there, even though it's a bit too much space requirement wise, but you can go around that with like mods, or like just ignore them if you're in Sandbox. Next was the South American Pack. And here we have 250, like over 250 construction pieces. They were pretty much 2 categories of like construction pieces in that pack. It was either bamboo or temple stones, and I I like the temple stones. Like, if you saw a few of my videos, I really like building temples. So I am really fond of these temple pieces, especially because they had two sets. One that wasn't recolorable and one that was recolorable, meaning you had a lot more freedom than with the Aquatic Pack construction pieces. And same goes for the bamboo pieces, even though I don't think that all of the bamboo pieces are looking that good, but they are still nice to have. And for the animals, we are having 4 habitat animals, being the giant anteater, the llama, the Colombian white-faced capuchin monkey, and the jaguar. And on top of that, we've got an exhibit animal, and that was the red-eyed tree frog. Gotta be honest here, I don't care at all for these exhibit animals. I will tell you which one we got in which DLC, but I don't care. I couldn't care less. So I don't really factor them into my own opinion if I like a pack or not. But I actually do like the jaguars. I really like the capuchin monkey, even though they are making so much noise if you put them in your zoo. But I really do like them, and it was also very nice to have like a more representation of South America, because before that the rest of South America was really lacking. The reason why we get this pack, I assume. And so I would actually say I think this was or is a good pack, and it's not great because, little spoiler, in other packs are temple pieces that are even better in terms of how they look than the one from South America, and also a lot of the animal models like could use a remaster, like jaguar, for example. At least in my opinion. So next DLC is the Australia Pack. This one had over 230 construction pieces, and they were all around like the typical Australian themes, like the red orange walls, like think of like that big rock, that Uluru rock in Australia, like this kind of color. And also they had a lot of rustic pieces. It was pretty outback themed, all the construction pieces, and you could not really use them for something else. It's pretty much Australia and that's it. Like, there are a few pieces you can use for other things. Like, there are some fence posts I use pretty heavily, but apart from that, it's like Australia or nothing. And for the animals we get in this pack, it's again 4 habitat animals, 1 exhibit animal. The habitat animals were the koala, the red kangaroo, the southern cassowary, and the dingo. And the exhibit animal was the eastern blue-tongued lizard. Why is it not called a skunk? I don't know. So, I like the koala as like a theory. In practice, that animal does not want to climb that often as it should, because I don't think koalas are ever on the ground. Like, that is not something that I've ever seen them do in zoos, but in Planet Zoo they do, so that's a bit annoying. The red kangaroo is really nice, but also in another pack we have another kangaroo-ish. I don't know if it's like also kangaroo, but it's like basically the same, so, and I like that other model more, so it's like red kangaroo, nice to have. Cassowary, it's really looking nice. It's menacing looking, it's really nice looking. And then we have the dingo, who's like, okay, it's a dog. Like, I'm not that fond of it, and because I don't think it has that much like of reusability, I will put it in the okay section. Now we get to the Aquatic Pack, which was such a game changer, because before that all the animals could not dive. We had the saltwater crocodile, that's a base game animal, but it couldn't dive. So with this pack they started incorporating animals that could actually dive in the water. So we had over 130 scenery pieces, and as animals we got 4 habitats: the grey seal, the king penguin, the giant otter, and the Cuvier's dwarf caiman. And as an exhibit animal, the diamondback terrapin, who also has its own layout for the exhibit because it's mostly underwater as opposed to just being land exhibits. So I personally do like the Aquatic Pack. I think it's like not as high as it was a few DLCs before, but I still really enjoy it. In the construction pieces we have these fake rocks that you can see so often in zoos that it's like such a staple to use them. So that's like a big win for this. And also we have waterfalls, like actual waterfalls in this pack. Before that you could only have special effects and make your waterfall that way, and this pack introduced 3 already built waterfalls, which was pretty nice to have. So I will put this in the good category because I really like it. Next DLC on the list is the Southeast Asian Animal Pack. That was the first animal pack that we had, which instead of featuring construction pieces and animals, it only had animals, and it were like 8 animals instead of like 5. So in this pack we are looking for the habitat animals at the sun bear, the clouded leopard, the proboscis monkey, the Malayan tapir, the Norse Sulawesi barbirosa, and the dhole and the binturong. And the exhibit animal was the giant Malayan leaf insect. So I really like this animal pack. It was the first, so nobody really knew what they were doing at that moment, but I like the clouded leopard, even though it is like still a bit prone to moonwalking on the climbing structures, but it's actually my favorite animal in general now, because I didn't know it existed before, but now it's like my favorite animal. I really like the model of the Barbirosa, and I also like that they fixed the binturong model because there were some issues, but in total I really like the animal models. I really like basically everything about this pack, so it's a great pack for me. And I was actually kind of surprised when I put the Southeast Asian Animal Pack on the Great Pack, like as a great pack on there, because as you can see it's the first pack I consider to being great, and it's also the first animal pack that we had ever in the game, so I was kind of surprised. But anyway, after that we are going to look at the Africa Pack. So the Africa Pack was again one with construction pieces. In this DLC we had over 180 construction pieces. They were mostly plaster pieces, which was good since mostly all of it in this pack is recolorable, which is a great plus for everything in this pack. And you also had a few North African themed building pieces, which were also kind of useful. And for the animals, we had 4 habitat animals: the southern red rhinoceros, the meerkat, the fennec fox, and the African penguin. And with the inclusion of the rhino, the meerkat, and the first penguin, we are having 3 really staple animals of a zoo finally in a game. And we also have the sacred scarab beetle as an exhibit animal. I think this is like such a good DLC. I love the animal roster, I love the animal models. I think they are like some staples that, like, especially meerkats and the African penguin, you could find them in nearly every zoo, and the construction pieces are like so versatile and I just love them, so of course it's also a great pack for me. Now we are going to look at the North America Animal Pack. Since it's an animal pack, no construction pieces, but we have 7 habitat animals, being the North American beaver, the California sea lion, the moose, the cougar, the American alligator, the black-tailed prairie dog, and the Arctic fox, and the exhibit animal being the American bullfrog. So also in this pack we had, at least in my book, staple animals like the prairie dogs I see in most of the zoos I visit, as well as California sea lions, and all around it was just like expanding on the North American roster, which was severely needed. And I do also like the inclusion of the American alligator, I like the beaver, and I also like the Arctic fox, even though I tend to not really use it that much. But yeah, anyway. Because I am not that fond of like the moose, like in general I don't want to build for moose that often. So I just think it's a good pack. It's like, I don't use the animals enough to really say it's a great pack for me. So it's just a good pack. And now we are coming to the Eurasia Pack, a construction pieces pack, which featured over 250 construction pieces, all themed around a European market, like maybe, I want to say Christmas market, even though it's like not really a Christmas market, but like more like these medieval houses, like these typical European houses that you can think of. Like, you can build them now with the Eurasia Pack. And what makes the Eurasia Pack so great for me personally is that they had decals so that you can make everything look old and rusty. Not rusty, but like worn down and stuff. And I really like these pieces. They are recolorable, they are perfect. As for the animals, we have the Eurasian lynx, the European fallow deer, the alpine ibex, and the European badger as habitat animals, and the fire salamander as an exhibit species. All of these animals were needed. Maybe the alpine ibex wasn't that much needed for me anyway, but in general, European animals were lacking in this game, and especially some kind of European deer was severely needed, so I think that was the perfect way to introduce them to us. And that, together with the fact that I really love the decals, makes this a great pack for me. Next we have the Wetlands Animal Pack. Since it's an animal pack, no scenery pieces. The 7 habitat animals were the Asian small-clawed otter, the capybara, the Nile lechwe, however you pronounce that, I'm still not sure, the platypus, the red-crowned crane, the spectacled caiman, and the wild water buffalo, while the exhibit animal was the noob-crested newt. I love everything about this pack, except for that I don't know how to pronounce one of the animals. But apart from that, I would have never guessed that I would like a buffalo species so much, or that I would like be so head over heels for another caiman, but I love it, so there's like no discussion. For me, it's a great pack. It's a really great pack, and like, let's not forget that with the capybara and the Asian small-clawed otter, we had 2 other species that were relatively well represented in zoos, so it was a great thing to be finally able to build for them, especially since we had the giant otter in the Aquatic Pack, and like, you don't see giant otters that often in zoos, like not as often as you see Asian small-clawed otters, so it was really good to finally have the Asian small-clawed otter in game. Now we are coming to one pack that a lot of people in the community really like, solely because of the construction pieces, and this being the Conservation Pack. And this pack came with over 150 construction pieces. Most of them were either surrounded on like I think like some kind of recycled material. It looks kind of weird to me. I don't know what to do with it. Or like it was either that, or we had something that would be more in the backstage area of their zoos, which I don't build backstage areas. I don't really care about that, but I do think they have their use, and since a lot of people like to build backstage areas, that pack is like an absolute must. What I like about the construction pieces were not really the construction pieces, but the flowers. Because in this pack we got, I think, 5 different flowers and a grass version, and I really like to use them. So I really love the construction pieces just because of the flowers. And for the animals, we had the Przewalski horse, the Amur leopard, the Siamang, and the scimitar horned oryx as the habitat animals, and an axolotl as the exhibit animal, which, I mean, I like the Siamang. I didn't think I would like the Siamang. I would like the Siamang as much as I do. And I also love the Przewalski horse. The Amur leopard, there was some confusion on my part where I thought the Amur leopard was actually a Chinese leopard, or like more the other way around, because I thought we had Amur leopards in our zoo, in my local zoo. Turns out we don't, we have Chinese leopards, but I thought it was an Amur leopard, so yeah, the Amur leopard in game did not look like the quote-unquote Amur leopard we had at the local zoo, so I was kind of disappointed, and then found out it's not even an Amur leopard that we have, so... But yeah, that kind of ruined the whole Amur leopard thing for me. So, but other than like my own confusion, I still like that pack. I love the flowers, and mostly because of the flowers, it's a great pack for me. Now we are coming to a bit of a controversial pack, I think. So we're talking about the Twilight Pack. It's coming with construction pieces, over 200 in fact. They were all centered around Halloween and having like a scary castle in your zoo, which was maybe a bit too themed, so that's like also why I don't really like the construction pieces, because apart from the roof pieces and like the wall pieces that you can use for making like castles and stuff, it's not really versatile if you don't want to make like some scary spooky house or something. So I don't really like them. For the animals, we had as habitat animals the red fox, the raccoon, the common wombat, and the striped skunk, and the Egyptian fruit bat as an exhibit animal. And here we need to talk about the Egyptian fruit bat, because that was the first exhibit animal that was made into a walkthrough exhibit animal, where the guests could actually walk into the exhibit and see the animals from there. But I like the roster, like I like the fox, I like the raccoon. Actually, I like all 4 of the habitat animals, but it's not really, like the construction pieces are like not really holding up for me, and I'm not someone who builds that often for these habitat animals, so it's just an okay pack for me. Next we have the Grassland Animal Pack, which consisted of the habitat animals being the 9-banded armadillo, the maned wolf, the emu, the caracal, the redneck wallaby, the striped hyena, and the blue wildebeest. And for exhibit animals, this time it's plural, we had a new walkthrough exhibit, this time for different species of butterflies, the species being the cloudless sulphur, the European peacock, the Menelaus blue morpho, don't know how to pronounce that either, the monarch, and the old world swallowtail. So I really like this animal pack. I think I like all of the animal packs, like, to be completely honest. And I think with this pack we had some amazing animal, not only in the models, but like also in terms of what the different species are. Like, I love the maned wolf, I love the emu, the emu is looking so good, as well as the redneck wallaby, which was the kind of kangaroo-ish creature I was referring to when I was talking about the Australia pack. I think when you compare these two, the wallaby is looking so much nicer, and I think I would rather put the redneck wallaby model in my zoo than the red kangaroo one, so that's why I was like, okay, yeah, I don't really want it. I don't need the red kangaroo when I can have a wallaby, like, you know? So, yeah, because I really like all of the selection. It's also like a good pack. It's like not a great pack because I have no clue how to build an armadillo habitat. I think I've never done it. I don't think if I really can. Same for the blue wildebeest, even though the model is looking fantastic. And caracal, also never really built for it. I think it looks really nice. For me, it's just a good pack. Purely based on opinion, not like actual facts. Now we are on to the Tropical Pack, which is a construction pieces DLC with over 200 pieces, being also like the South American one, more like into the temple themes. Like we have a lot of temple structure themes and temple structured pieces, not themes. So you have either like little blocks for your temple, or you have like a wall set, which is just a brick wall set, which is pretty versatile. You could use it even if you don't want to make like a temple or something. So that's really nice. And for the animals, we had the fossa, the lyre gibbon, the red river hawk, and the Asian water monitor. And as an exhibit species, we had the brown-throated sloth, which is also a walkthrough exhibit like the fruit bat and the butterflies. I am not that over the moon about the animal choices. I really like the gibbon, just as I also like the siamang, and I really enjoyed the Asian water monitor, but fossa and red river hawk. The red river hawk looks amazing, but I'm not that, like, I don't want to build for pigs that often. But because I am a sucker for these temple pieces, it is, of course, a great pack. Now we are getting to the animal pack that is, it's called the Arid Animal Pack, but you could also rename it to the Hoofstocks Animal Pack. Because we have a lot of hoofstock in here. We have the dromedary camel, the addax, the dama gazelle, the black rhinoceros, the Somali wild ass, the African crested porcupine, and the sand cat. So pretty big on hoofstocks. And as an exhibit animal, we get the desert horned viper. I gotta be honest, when that pack was announced, I didn't really want it. Like, I was like, no, I don't need any more hoofstock. I'm fine. But then I actually got the pack I built for the animals, like, and I love it. All the hoofstocks are so good. The models are brilliant. I really, really like it. And even though I was most excited for the sand cat, I ended up liking all the hoofstock way more than the sand cat. And yeah, I can just say, like, it's a good pack if you like hoofstock, or maybe even if you don't, because I don't consider myself a hoofstock lover. But since it is mostly hoofstock, and for me the other animals were not really that convincing, it is only a good pack for me. Now we are coming to the last construction DLC on this list, which is the Oceania Pack. We have over 200 pieces in here, which are mostly Oceania themed, so I don't really use them that often. I don't think they're that versatile for me, but maybe I just haven't built enough with them yet. But yeah, it's just not something like they have some wooden pieces that I like, but other than that, it's more like pretty Oceania theme, but I'm sure that you could make other things out of it. Like, it's not as thematic as, for example, the Twilight Pack with the Halloween stuff, or like the Arctic Pack with the Christmas trees, where you are not able to use them in any other way. So that's not it. For the animals, we have the kiwi, the little penguin, the quokka, and the Tasmanian devil as the habitat animals, and we have the spectacled flying fox as, again, a walk-through exhibit animal. I like all the animals, even though I'm like not that over the moon over the construction pieces, just because I like all the animals. it's gotta be a good pack. Now we only have 3 packs left, all 3 of them being animal packs. Starting with the Eurasia Animal Pack, which included the recent, the White Boar, the Mute Swan, the Sloth Bear, the Wolverine, the Saiga, Tarkin, and as an exhibit animal, the Herman's Tortoise. I must say I liked the Wolverine. I was excited for the Wolverine. I couldn't care less for the recent or the White Boar. And I actually thought I wouldn't like the Mute Swan at all, but turns out that's my favorite animal from this whole pack. I will rank it good. Not because I really like the selection, like for myself, because I'm not that into building European, like animals, like it mostly are European, but the models are amazing, and I do really like the swans. And also the swans were like the first time we got a waterfowl fowl in the game, so like a one that is not like a flamingo or like a penguin, like you know what I mean, right? I will put them in the good category. And after that they came out with the Barnyard Animal Pack, and I think that was also something that was like a bit controversial because most people wanted these animals far sooner than we actually got them. But this was also the first animal pack that included scenery pieces, over 60 to be exact, all themed around barnyards. Who could have guessed that? And the barnyard animals were the Sussex chicken, the alpaca, the alpine goat, the American standard donkey, the Highland cattle, the Tamworth pig, and the Hill Redner sheep. But this was also the first animal pack where we didn't have an exhibit animal. I don't care for like the barn areas in zoo. The models are looking amazing. I'm a sucker for the chicken. I love these chickens. But other than that, it's like I will probably not use them again after I finished at some point my barnyard zoo. So for me, it's just an okay pack, just purely because I will not use the animals ever again, except for the chicken. And now, the last pack is the Zookeeper Animals Pack, which also came, even though it's an animal pack, with a few scenery pieces, over 95 to be exact. And they had a lot of marquee beams in there, which were kind of useful if you wanted to make like something like that. In fact, I don't, so but that's just personal preference here. I do know a lot of people find it really good that we have that now. The animals that we've got were the Palace Cat, the Hamadryas Baboon, the Markhor, the Spectacled Bear, the African Sport Tortoise, the Kirk's Dik-Dik, and the Cockerel Safaka. The Safaka. I really like the animals in this pack, especially the Palace Cat and the Kirk's Dik-Dik, but I am also really fond of the Safaka and for some reason also the African Sport Tortoise. So I really like these animals. Like the models all around look amazing, but for me the Markhor and like the bear, it's I don't really care for them, but I do care a lot about the Palace Cat and the Kirk Dik-Dik. Like I think these are like my 2 favorite animals in this pack, and I am like currently building my third Palace Cat habitat, so I think that speaks for itself, so it's a great pack. Now my ranking is complete. I hope I could show you a bit of the things that are in certain DLCs and also share my own opinion on why I like them or why I don't like them. Maybe it helped you if you want to buy one of the DLCs but didn't really know if you want to get it or not. And I just hope you liked the video, and I hope we will see each other in the next one. Bye!